Hello, my name is Jonathan Pilkington. I'm a travel advisor, and this is the Luxury All-Inclusive Travel Podcast. This episode is the first in a series of 3 interviews about all-inclusive experiences that you can have in the United States. In this episode, I'm talking with Shelby Gerst from the Armstrong Collective, which is the company that owns Rocky Mountaineer and Canyon Spirit. Rocky Mountaineer has a great reputation in Canada, and they've been around for quite a while. Canyon Spirit is a newer offering that explores the American West, starting in Denver and going west from there. I hope you'll enjoy as Shelby and I explore what they offer on board, as well as the different experiences you can have with Canyon Spirit. If you like what you hear, please contact me to book. Links are in the show notes. My website is pilkingtontravels.com, and my email address is jonathan@pilkingtontravels.com. Please like and subscribe. And if you are listening to an audio version, just know that you can also go to YouTube to see any photos or videos that are shared. Thank you. Hi, Shelby. Thank you for joining me today to talk about Canyon Spirit. Can you just tell me a little about yourself first?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me, Jonathan. I'm Shelby Gerst. I'm a business development manager with Canyon Spirit and Rocky Mountaineer, a name that a lot of you are probably a little more familiar with, but we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. I live in Greenville, South Carolina. So, anybody on the East Coast or South Carolina, hello. And I'm actually a former travel advisor myself. So, I fell in love with the Rocky Mountaineer brands and just really selling travel, around the world. Got approached to work for Rocky Mountaineer, never really thought about the supplier side, but with a company like this, I figured, why not? That seems great. And now 3 years later, here we are, loving every
Great.
minute. And we get to talk about our new rebranded US product, Canyon Spirit.
Okay, good. Well, you just answered a question for me and also lead me to my next question, which is how is Canyon Spirit related to Rocky Mountaineer? Like, what's the history and where did it come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a sister brand of Rocky Mountaineer. So I think let me just go ahead and share my screen real quick and we'll show you guys some visuals to make this a little easier. Of course, I just lost the window. There we go. Canyon Spirit, it is our route in the American Southwest between Denver, Colorado, and Moab, Utah. But how does it relate to Rocky Mountaineer? So for the past 36 years now, Rocky Mountaineer has been that unforgettable journey in the Canadian Rockies. And since 2001, we actually were running this US product under that name, Rocky Mountaineer. But when you think of Rocky Mountaineer, you think of the Canadian Rockies, you think of Banff and some of those destinations. Moab, Utah, the US national parks are just a little different than what we do in Canada. So we've rebranded our product in the US to Canyon Spirit. So this year in 2026, it is our first year under this name. It is the same world class service, that all inclusive experience, the daylight only, slow moving, elevated rail experience you've kind of known in the Canadian Rockies, just a little closer to home for us here in the US.
Nice. How long did you say Canyon Spirit has existed?
It was 2001, so this will be our 5th year, and so it's been a great product. If
Yeah.
anybody's ever, heard about Rocky Mountaineer and knows how well regarded it is, I mean, it's an award-winning brand year after year. The past 2 years, our Rockies to the Red Rocks route, which is the route name for Canyon Spirit,
Mhm.
has actually been the highest rated guest experience that we've had. So people that travel on board absolutely love it. So anybody interested in Canyon Spirit, you're absolutely gonna love it as well.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Yeah, I had clients on Rocky Mountaineer last year and they loved it. And I have some already interested in Canyon Spirit, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk about the routes. That's kind of where I get a little confused.
Absolutely. So in the US, it's definitely not as confusing as Canada. In Canada, we have 3 routes and it just makes everything a little different. So here in the US, it's technically one route with just a couple of options of how long you're going to be on board the train.
Okay.
So if we're flying into Denver and starting in Denver, you have the option of a 2-day route where you'd be on the train for 2 days. Again, it's daylight only. So you'd start in Denver, you travel on the train during the day, you end in Glenwood Springs that first night. You get a nice night's rest, you wake up refreshed, get back on the train, travel over to Moab, Utah. And if you just want 2 days and you really want to spend more time in Moab and explore the national parks, that is a great option for you, the 2-day route. We then have a new 3-day route extension that will take you up to Salt Lake City if you want more time on the train and just to really enjoy more of the leisurely ride along the rails. So we have that wonderful 3-day option between Denver and Salt Lake and that 2-day option between Moab and Denver. And obviously the train has to get back, so you can start in Salt Lake or Moab as well and travel back to Denver.
Okay. So just a different the line kind of splits. It either goes to Moab or Salt Lake City.
It is, yeah, so it's just some of our guests will depart the train in Moab if they wanna spend more time there, and then the rest of the guests will continue on up to Salt Lake City if they're traveling that westbound direction, absolutely.
Okay, great. um, and then it looks like there's also an option to go by highway transfer to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, so that little dotted line, everybody's always like, "Well, what is that?" I see the Las Vegas. So, we've got a couple of really cool national park land extensions. So, out of Salt Lake City, there are 2 that go to some Utah parks and actually up to Yellowstone, but we're not gonna talk about that today because the Yellowstone one is sold out in 2026.
Okay.
It'll sell out quick, but we have a really cool one. It's called the Mighty 5 Explorer. So, this leaves Moab. I know that map's kinda small, but it's the same 2 days on the train. When you're in Moab, we do tours of Arches and Canyonlands National Park. The next day, you're greeted by a tour guide. This is a small group experience that maxes out at 8 passengers. It then goes to Capitol Reef National Park, Bryce Canyon National Park. You do an overnight just outside of Bryce. Then it goes down to Zion National Park before ending in Las Vegas. So, any of you that are interested in national parks, it doesn't get much better than this. Small group experiences, the wonderful elevated rail experience on board Canyon Spirit, all in one package. So, if this sounds great to you, you definitely need to reach out to Jonathan and book this.
Yeah, that does sound great. Do like if on one particular journey, if there you said it's a small group, so will there be multiple small groups or is just very limited?
This is very limited
Okay.
on availability. So with this one, I think right now they're running basically 2 Mercedes Sprinter vans. So they're using very comfortable luxury vehicles. And as of right now, it's literally 16 people per departure. So this does sell out very quickly, like the Yellowstone one I talked about. The good thing is this Mighty Five runs every single month that we travel, where the Yellowstone one was limited to 5 departures in each direction. So if you want to see national parks, if you've never been to Utah's Mighty Five, and they are fantastic, definitely look into one of these because it's a fantastic way to experience them.
Great, okay. Um I'm throwing this question at you right now that we didn't talk about before, but is what's the typical passenger, like the age, demographic?
Yeah, so with it's really similar to our Rocky Mountaineer demographics. I think I would say probably 75% of our passengers are kind of that 55 and up, that retirement to pre-retirement age. People that enjoy river cruising, but
Mhm.
especially in the United States, people that want to see national parks, that want to stay a little closer to home, but don't wanna do it on a 55-person motor coach or don't wanna drive in the car because it is a great area to explore on your own if you're into it,
Right.
but why not have some local guides take you through? Don't drive on the highways through the Rocky Mountains, sit back on our train, relax, and enjoy the journey.
Okay, love it. I think it works for me. I'm 47. I'm
I'm not quite there yet, but I think I fit in the demographic too because it is aging a little younger than Rocky Mountaineer, and it really helps you with that sense of adventure as you get to the national parks, and everybody's
yeah,
gonna love the experience on board the train.
right. Okay. Great. Well, let's talk about the onboard experience then, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. So the onboard experience is fantastic. It is that slow moving daylight only rail experience, and then people ask, "Well, I want to sleep on a train. Why don't you have sleeper cars?" Because it's about seeing those destinations that we traveled through. As you can see on your screen here, if you're watching this online, big open windows, big glass dome coaches. This is what traveling on board Canyon Spirit is all about. And if you're traveling at nighttime or if you're traveling or obviously sleeping, you're going to miss all of that and you're going to miss scenery kind of like this as well. So there's so many pictures I could show you, but just a little snapshot into some of the amazing scenery that is offered on that beautiful, slow moving journey. So not only is it about the scenery, it's about the service on board. So our staff provides world-class, impeccable service. They're giving you your drinks, your snacks, because it is an all-inclusive experience. And then they're also serving you your meals. And when we talk about meals, we'll get into them a little bit later, but absolutely fantastic food. And then they're also master storytellers. So as you're going by scenery like this, as you're going through some of these little small towns or just some of the highlights of the route, they will get on there, they will tell you some stories, and these are captivating stories. It's not like, oh man, they took the microphone again. I'm gonna go get a drink, go to the bathroom. They're actually good stories. They're engaging. Some of them are funny, and they really make you want to listen and really enhance that experience as you travel.
Right. Okay. Um, so let's just reiterate that so there are you do not sleep on the train. You sleep in hotels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was a concern of someone I was talking with about it. They're like, we do not want to sleep on a train because we will not sleep. So I think hotels is the next thing on our plan, and I'm very interested to know what you offer.
Absolutely. Yeah, we every night is in a hotel bed because I'm the same way. I know there's a few trains in the world that are very nice and people want to sleep on, but it's just not what the Canyon Spirit journey is all about. So we do have hotels. Every single night you travel with us, you will be in a hotel. And these are carefully chosen, fantastic hotels. Here's just a couple examples. So in Salt Lake City, we used the Grand America Hotel, fabulous, kind of sprawling Las Vegas resort style. Beautiful rooms, large rooms, big gardens. As you can see, it's a very nice hotel. So all of our guests rave about this hotel, and we have a new hotel we're using. It's called the Asher Adams. That if you're watching, you can see on the left side. It's a former actually rail depot. So big, beautiful lobby, some amazing rooms. So just fantastic properties along the way. They're always going to be well appointed, carefully chosen hotels because this is about an elevated luxury experience. We're not just going to go throw you in the Days Inn down the road, throw you in, a Motel 6. This is about enjoying your journey, getting a nice night's rest, and enjoying the train and the destinations that we go to.
Great. Yeah, they look beautiful. So when you go from train to hotel, is there assistance with your bags and all of that, or how does that actually work?
That is actually a great question to ask. So the bag and the luggage handling, it's just a seamless experience from start to end. So pretend you flew into Denver. When you get to Denver, you get your bags from the airport to your first hotel. From there, that is the last time you're going to be schlepping and moving your bags around until you have to get them at the airport at the end. So from that first hotel, you leave your bags at the hotel, generally right inside your room. Somebody from our staff comes, picks up the bags, and they actually don't even travel on board the train. So we put them on a box truck or a van. We put them on the highway. We ship them to the next town. That way, by the time the train arrives, because again, it's a slow moving experience, we average about 30 miles an hour when we travel.
Mm.
You open that hotel room door that night and your bags are waiting on you. And then the next morning, you leave them in the hotel room again. We take them to the next town and so on through the end of your journey. So you're not schlepping your bags. Seamless experience. The only thing you want to bring with you, because that's a question a lot of people ask,
Right.
of course, any medication, probably a light jacket, and then a camera, because that's really all you need on board the train.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm sold. Um, okay, next, I believe. So this is the all-inclusive luxury all-inclusive podcast. So I understand this is an all-inclusive experience. So can we talk about that and different packages that are available?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're on board the train, everything is included on the train. So that is your food, your snacks, and your drinks. And that can be, your coffees, teas, juices, sodas. But if you want to indulge, it is also your alcoholic beverages as well. So you are fed well on the train. You are taken care of very well on the train. And just to kind of give you a sneak peek, everybody will travel in a signature experience car. As you can see, some beautifully plated food there in the middle. When we talk about that food on board the train, it's not like, would you like the hamburger or the hot dog today? There's no bag lunches. This is fantastic cuisine, and it's a locally inspired, a locally sourced menu. So it'll have a Southwest theme to it. There are multiple options for every single meal. And trust me, they're all amazing. And there's even another option you can do. It's called the Premier Upgrade on board, where if you want a couple more options, if you want to do things like a whiskey tasting on board, if you want to have some different wine pairings with meals, or have access to a couple different bartenders because with the Premier Upgrade, you get your signature experience car and two lounge cars. It's a really great way to enhance your experience even further and to kind of just show you a simple dish, but it's some nice waffles here in the morning. My boss actually calls these the relationship saver waffles because as you can see, they look fantastic. If my wife and I were to travel, I would order the waffle. She would order, avocado toast or something that she likes. Halfway through, she'd be eating my waffle and we'd be getting in a fight because I want to finish my delicious waffle. So my boss calls it the relationship saver waffle. So have them order both. If you want avocado toast and a waffle, get both. They will give you both dishes.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, all the food I just saw looked really good. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. And so with the signature versus premier, is the food the same, or is that also kind of elevated in the premier?
It is mostly the same. There will be a couple different options or maybe an additional add-on on one of the days, and they're doing some additional things, like they're testing out a tea service, they're doing that whiskey pairing, and whiskey tasting, and even if you don't drink alcohol, they have some non-alcoholic whiskey, which seemed very weird to me,
Right.
but people are enjoying that as well, so they're trying some different enhancements and just some nice add-ons that they do in that Premier Upgrade. But really, if you're looking at Premier Upgrade when you book Canyon Spirit, it's really about space. You get access to 3 cars instead of 1, and again, more bathrooms, more outdoor viewing areas to take in the sights, more bartenders, just more space is the best way to do it. And some of those additional enhancements with food are just a nice cherry on top.
Great. Yes. Um, and another, I don't think you've mentioned this, and I didn't ask before, but how long are you on board?
That's a great question. So it differs a little bit by day. I'm just going to pull the map up real quick again.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at that Denver to Glenwood Springs day, that's generally about an 8 to 9 hour day on board the train. Some people are like, ooh, that seems like a long time, but it goes by pretty quickly because, again, you're looking at the scenery. It's fantastic scenery as you travel. You're eating those meals, you're listening to those stories, you're moving around on the car. It starts to go by pretty quick. And then before you know it, you're in that destination. And then that day between Glenwood and Moab, and even Moab and Salt Lake City, those are more like a 6 hour day, maybe up to seven if it's, a little slower on the rails that day, but
Mm.
not full days. Where if you've ever traveled with Rocky Mountaineer, I tell people to expect 12-hour days up there. So good portion of the day, but then you still have time to enjoy those towns, even those overnight towns when we get in the late afternoon or evening.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. Um, and am I also understanding correctly that there are no excursions and tours off of the train, or am I
Not
misunderstanding?
not during the day, no. So as you're moving
Okay.
during the day, it is that constantly moving where you're not gonna stop and get off during the train day. But when you're in those destinations, there are time to explore. And even if you're doing the 3-day route, because a lot of people are like, well, I want to do things in Moab. How can I do it with one night? With those shorter days, we get into Moab kind of early afternoon, and then we don't leave until lunch the next day. So it is possible to do an Arches and Canyonlands tour right there in that one night stay, or obviously many of the other activities you could do in Moab as well.
Wow, nice. Okay. Um, wow, we've covered so much. This is so efficient and informative. Um, so I think we're kind of at the last thing. Like, what's the value? What sets apart Canyon Spirit? Why should people go?
Yeah, I mean, just a nice quick shot of what it looks like when you're, again, enjoying that time, looking out those observation areas on the car. I mean, a trip with Canyon Spirit really is, it's a curated travel experience. Everything from those carefully chosen hotels, of course, the food, the service on board. It's designed to maximize that scenery, the comfort, and just the ease of travel. We talked about the seamless experience with the baggage. I mean, it's beautiful scenery. There's no way to see most of these sites except when you travel on board the train. You can be driving through here for one, you're gonna be looking at the road, not to the side.
Right.
So beautiful scenery, and it's really just kind of a journey first philosophy. That daylight only, slow moving travel. We want you to look out the windows, experience the areas you're traveling through, but then experience those destinations when you get there. Of course, it is all inclusive on the train, but the true value is nobody does what we do. It really is kind of like our sister brand, Rocky Mountaineering in Canada. It's a truly unforgettable journey. Nobody does what we do, and people have a fantastic time when they travel with us.
It looks like it. Yes, I am. I'm excited to tell people about it and book a lot of clients. Um, anything else that I haven't touched on or you haven't touched on?
I mean, we did I feel like a pretty good job in this short time that we've been talking.
Yeah.
If you are just looking for that different type of travel, because again, we're not a river cruise, we're not an ocean cruise. Like I said, nobody does what we do. But if you want that truly different experience, if you want to stay a little closer to home and see some amazing national parks or just some beautiful cities, Canyon Spirit is definitely a trip for you. So anybody looking into it, definitely contact Jonathan. It's something that once you look at it, once you go online, do a little research, look at some more photos and videos, you are going to be ready to book. I almost guarantee it.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. This was fantastic. I appreciate your time and I hope we'll be in touch again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks again for watching or listening. In case you're listening to this as an audio podcast, it is available on YouTube so that you can see any photos or videos that we discussed. Search for the Luxury All-Inclusive Travel Podcast and subscribe there. Please contact me to book any of the resorts or other all-inclusive offerings discussed in the podcast, or to inquire about something I haven't covered yet. Please like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Most importantly, please visit my website at pilkingtontravels.com or email me at jonathan@pilkingtontravels.com when you are ready to travel. Thank you.